Well, hey guys, I didn't expect to be going live tonight again, but I have to. I don't think I'll be live for long, and we'll give people a couple minutes to come. And anytime I say I'm not going to be live for that long, I'm usually live for like 3 hours, so that's good. I have to talk about this. I have to talk about this because I got to tell you guys, Laura Loomer right now is giving me life. She's giving me everything. She started posting about this the other day, but I didn't see it because I just wasn't paying attention, but I gotta I never liked Laura Loomer up until recently. Um because like listen, she's a fiery bitch. I'm a fiery bitch. Fiery bitches tend not to get along, and I didn't want to have anything to do with it. I certainly didn't want to get in a fight with her. Well, I have to say, bot, Laura Loomer is giving me serious pause. And who would have, you know what? Like, we all asked for a Christmas miracle, right? Well, the Christmas miracle may have come in the form of Laura God damn Loomer. Now I'm not guaranteeing anything, all right? I'm not guaranteeing anything. God. But I will say that I am thrilled beyond measure to maintain my 100% success rate in calling out corrupt organizations in the anti-woke space. I have a 100% success rate. Every single organization that I've called out and I've said they're corrupt, don't support them, every single one has borne out through evidence over time to be corrupt. I was the very first person to call out Brian Bartning at the Foundation Against Intolerance and Racism, otherwise known as FAIR. I got blacklisted to high heaven when I called out Brian Bartning for being who is now the former CEO of FAIR. I called him out for being a narcissist and just a raging problem, ragingly toxic, ragingly corrupt. I called him out in, what was it, fall of 2021. I was the only person speaking up about this, but I knew it was true because do you know what happened when I started calling them out? I started getting all these calls from people I'd never talked to before saying, "You're right about FAIR and here's more information for you." Like all of these bigwig people. But I was the only one that called him out publicly. And nothing happened about it for 2 years. And then this past year, and I documented this on my Substack, Brian Bartning was forced into resigning, and I know for 100% certain that my reporting from 2021, when I was the only person talking publicly about this, my reporting was used against him in the mediation to get him to resign from that position so they could put someone else in it. That didn't bear out for 2 years. But I was right when it happened. I was the only one that said it, and it turned out to be true. I called out Gays Against Groomers because Jamie Mitchell is a psycho and always has been. And I knew when I started seeing them brag publicly about these policies that they had for their employees, where they weren't allowing their not their employees because they don't pay anyone. Their I don't even know what they're called, volunteers, members. They started making this big stink about putting out these policies saying, we do not support drama within the space and da 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 da. Well, I knew that was bullshit because one of their members was constantly lying about me, smearing me, defaming me, and I reached out to Jamie, and Jamie turned into a complete psycho because I know that Jamie released that public policy partly because of the things that were going on with me. And then she wouldn't follow through and implement it. And I'm an organizational psychologist, man. I'm not a slacker. I spend time managing this bullshit in organizations. I spend time consulting with organizations that were dealing this. I know what I can identify a fucking corrupt organization when I see it. And when I see an organization publicly bragging about we have all these policies and da 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 da, and then they aren't doing shit to actually implement those policies behind the scenes, I was like, corrupt, and I called her out publicly. And then what happened after I called out Jamie publicly? I heard from a dozen whistleblowers who worked with Jamie directly at Gays Against Groomers saying, Carlin, you're right about them, and here's more evidence. And they actually gave me evidence. They gave me like their Telegram chats. They gave me all these screenshots of what was going on behind the scenes. Jamie started having this massive fucking Twitter meltdown. I wrote like 5 articles about it for my Substack with just all the bullshit. Of course, no one covers this but me. But I called that bitch out, and she started a massive smear campaign against me. I called that shit out, and I turned out to be right based on all of the internal screenshots that are on my Substack right now that anyone can go back and look at. Every single time I've called out an organization, I've been right. And I called out Moms for Liberty over a year and a half ago. I called out Moms for Liberty. Might even have been longer than that ago now. It might even have been almost 2 years ago. I'll tell you the moment that I knew Moms for Liberty was corrupt, because a woman I know in Manchester is the chair of the Manchester, New Hampshire chapter of Moms for Liberty. And she got me to come to one of their meetings, and I met everyone there, and I talked to them about CRT and stuff like that. And they even got me to pay the $20 in dues to join Moms for Liberty. Now, one of the first major stories that really made the rounds about Moms for Liberty was the story of this chapter of Moms for Liberty that was offering like $1,000 bounty if someone could provide evidence of a teacher breaking the anti-CRT laws in New Hampshire. The chapter that did that was the Manchester chapter that I was involved with and knew the people in. And so they got all this good media coverage. It was awesome. It was actually a really great idea. The Manchester, New Hampshire chapter of Moms for Liberty, by the way, is the only chapter in the country of libertarian women, of actual liberty activists, because the rest of Moms for Liberty are conservative. But they had this ragtag Bad News Bears chapter of Moms for Liberty that was made up almost entirely of libertarians that were not conservative, okay? And this is where the problem starts, because the libertarian chapter had the great idea to do this bounty where they raised like over $1,000. And if you gave them evidence of a teacher breaking the anti-CRT laws by teaching critical race theory in New Hampshire, they would hand you $1,000. And this made national news of this crazy group in New Hampshire that had a bounty on the heads of teachers, this crazy Moms for Liberty group. But I'll tell you when I knew they were corrupt, because they got all this positive media coverage about this crazy Manchester, New Hampshire chapter. And Moms for Liberty called the chair of the New Hampshire chapter, who, again, I know personally, and they read her the riot act for doing that. Moms for Liberty National was so pissed about this chapter in New Hampshire putting a bounty on the heads of teachers teaching critical race theory that they called her, they read her the riot act, like they basically demanded it stop, is the best of my recollection. I was like, they got all this positive media coverage, and the conservative bitches that run Moms for Liberty couldn't handle it. And they got all pissed off and started warring with this chapter chair over this amazing strategy. And the only reason I knew about that is because I happened to have spoken to that chapter and knew the woman who was running it. And from then on, I knew Moms for Liberty was corrupt. I was like, oh, here we go. Here, more bullshit organizations that don't actually care about fighting critical race theory at all, that just want to do this as like a stunt to raise money, to enrich themselves, and da 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 da. And wasn't it all like, wasn't it suspicious how quickly Moms for Liberty popped up and how quickly they raised tens of millions of dollars? Because they raised a metric fuck ton of money. A metric fuck ton of money. And they raised it so quickly. And all of a sudden, they were everywhere. Does anyone else find it suspicious when that sort of stuff happens with a political organization? Where did the money come from? Why were they all of a sudden on all these TV shows? These two moms. We're just two moms. Just these two moms are all of a sudden raised like tens of millions of dollars. Just these two moms all of a sudden are on all these big shows and perfectly groomed and perfectly media trained. Did anyone have any suspicions? I did. And then Moms for Liberty started banning books. And I called this out, and you can go back on my channel and look. I called this out from day one. From literally the very first news report of a Tennessee chapter of Moms for Liberty banning books. And I'll tell you which book they tried to ban. They tried to ban Ruby Bridges. I remember I reported on it on the channel. I said, this is a big fucking mistake. Here are all the ways that this is going to backfire. And of course, no one listened to me. Because it's not like I'm right 100% of the time when I say this. Oh, wait, I am. I said from the very beginning this was going to be a problem. I said from the very beginning this is going to be used against you. I said from the very beginning this is a slippery slope. You're not just going to ban like books with porn in it. You're going to try to ban everything you don't like. I said that from the very goddamn beginning. And what has happened since? Book banning has been a constant distraction. Book banning is like the left's favorite thing that the right does. They use it against the right all the GD goddamn time. Book banning has gone way beyond, we're just going to get rid of inappropriate sexual content. They've now expanded into content that even mentions being gay at all in any way. They've expanded into wanting to put the Bible back into school. They've expanded with books they don't like about race that have no inappropriate content based on age whatsoever. They've expanded to any mention of sex anywhere for any book for anyone under 18. They're getting these tactics are getting struck down now in federal court, which means that all the money that was put into this, all the time, all the energy was completely wasted because now the courts are stepping in and they're saying, you assholes can't fucking do this. It's going to get struck down federally, I promise you. I said this from the very beginning. It has made the problem worse. It has been a constant distraction. It has sucked all the energy. That's not even how they're indoctrinating students in the first place. The library books were never how they were indoctrinating students. It's in the goddamn curriculum. It's in the curriculum and the professional development. But no. Tens of thousands of dollars. Not thousands. Excuse me. Strike that. Tens of millions of dollars. The energy of hundreds of thousands of people that could have been better used. The national resources that this is all sucked up for a fight that they will literally never win because the left is constantly publishing new books. Book publishing is one of the ways that they make their money. Socialists have their own book publishers, dozens of socialist-specific book publishers. They are constantly churning out new books. And by the way, Not only do they have their own socialist specific book publishers that only publish socialist books, they also have basically taken over the big New York publishing houses. They're constantly publishing new things. When you hitch your wagon to book banning, you are in a constant strategy of chasing your tail. Because the minute you get one book out, they're going to replace it with 5 goddamn more. This is a game of whack-a-mole that you will never win. And I said it from the very goddamn beginning. And I was blocked and I was blacklisted by Moms for Liberty, and members of my community were blocked by Moms for Liberty because we kept calling them out on this, saying, you need to stop doing this. This is not effective. And no one cared. And I got smeared and I got harassed. And Carlin's a grammar. She wants pornography in school. Go fuck yourselves. Because I was right. I was right when I said that Moms for Liberty was corrupt from the very fucking beginning. And now the reason that I know that I was right is because of Laura Loomer. Laura fucking Loomer. Laura fucking Loomer. Can you believe this shit? Laura Loomer, for the past 2 days, has been screaming on Twitter about Moms for Liberty. It started, so far as I can tell, with this tweet here. Florida GOP chair Christian Ziegler, husband of a Moms for Liberty co-founder, accused of sexual battery by alleged menage a trois lover. Hello. Now, normally I don't care about this stuff. Normally I don't care about this stuff at all. I don't care who you fuck. I don't care how you fuck them. It makes no difference to me, man. I don't want to hear about it, but I'm not going to judge you for it. Like, whatever, you like what you like. If you want to have threesomes, even though you're conservatives and pretend to hate gay people, if you want to have threesomes and have gay sex, even though you pretend that's immoral to you in your real life, but you're doing it, I don't judge. I've been to CPAC. I know that it's all hookers and blow behind the scenes. I know. No one actually thinks conservatives are conservative sexually. No one actually thinks that, okay? If you do, that's stupid. But since it involved Moms for Liberty, I started paying attention. Now, this was on November 30th. And Laura Loomer has been tweeting a lot about that. Oh, wait for this. So Moms for Liberty sent out a tweet saying, yet another attempt to ruin the reputation of a strong woman fighting for America. Well, Moms for Liberty has tried to ruin the reputation of multiple people, including me, by the way. Not all. And by the way, I should say this. For people who are involved with local Moms for Liberty chapters, I'm not talking about the local Moms for Liberty chapters, okay? Because there are a lot of real people involved in those chapters that are just trying to do the right thing. I really do believe that. I'm not talking about like the boots on the ground, the real moms who are just trying to do the right thing. That's not the problem here. The problem is the national organization. So they tweeted out, yet another attempt to ruin the reputation of a strong woman fighting for America. Strong women scare those that seek to destroy our country. We stand with Bridget Ziegler, every other badass woman fighting for kids in America. Let's make strong women trend. Stunning and brave. Moms for Liberty, stunning and brave. But then the post was deleted. Huh. Laura Loomer tweeted that. Well, that didn't take long. I am not a fan of Moms for Liberty. I was attacked for saying this months ago, but something doesn't smell right. Never has, if you want my honest opinion. Why did you delete this post, Tina? Tina is one of the founders of Moms for Liberty. Let's see. She tweeted some other stuff. Oh, wait. Just a reminder, Bridget Ziegler was appointed by Ron DeSantis to be on the board of the Walt Disney Reedy Creek Improvement District. This is the woman who had the menage a trois with her husband that is the co-founder of Moms for Liberty. Huh. Seems kind of close to DeSantis, doesn't she? Doesn't just now, I'm not suggesting anything nefarious is happening. I'm just suggesting that I think Moms for Liberty are DeSantis supporters. Because here's the thing. If there's one thing I think most of us can agree upon, it's that people who are supporting Ron DeSantis are some of the most insufferable people on the internet right now. Ron DeSantis supporters are basically like never Trumpers. So, I mean, I think a good question to ask, because I think that, I think a good question to ask is, does Moms for Liberty support a specific presidential candidate? Don't they support Donald Trump? Wouldn't that be like the logical choice, since Donald Trump was like the ones who actually banned critical race theory federally? Or are they just all up in Ron DeSantis's business? Huh. Isn't it funny that almost every single Ron DeSantis supporter, at least among the influencer set, are some of the most awful people imaginable? Isn't it funny that Ron DeSantis has been caught paying people to endorse him? Isn't that funny? Anyway, let's come back to that. Let's see. That's just a general tweet. She didn't tweet about Moms for Liberty a whole bunch right away. She got into more of it today, so I gotta go up. Oh, look. Now Moms for Liberty has officially blocked Laura Loomer. Laura, welcome to the Blocked by Moms for Liberty Club. Many members of my community are also blocked by Moms for Liberty because we dared to question the wisdom of sucking up all the resources in the space to implement tactics that would never, ever, ever be effective and were a giant game of whack-a-mole and were never actually going to make change. We have some jackets made. We should send Laura Loomer an honorary club jacket. And she said, the degenerates over at Moms for Liberty have blocked me. Time for me to drop the oppo I've been sitting on for months about Moms for Liberty. It's time for everyone in the GOP to stop supporting this organization that is nothing more than a grassroots operation for Ron DeSantis. Really? Really? Is it possible that Moms for Liberty is just an organization propped up by Ron DeSantis for reasons? Is that possible? Huh. I bet many of the moms in the local chapters of Moms for Liberty, who are not DeSantis supporters, but rather Trump supporters, would be interested in this information. Let's keep going. Laura Loomer had some other stuff. It was debate night last night, after all. She was distracted. I have to say, like, Laura's looking very pretty. I mean, honestly, taking some good pictures lately. I'm saying that totally non-lesbian way, of course. Lesbians can't resist me, but that's just the way it goes. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Laura's retweeting things. What does this say? Didn't see this coming. Florida GOP chair Christian Ziegler is reportedly under criminal investigation over allegations of sexual battery by a woman he and his wife Bridget had a long-standing sexual relationship with. So a long-standing threesome relationship. Okay. For those keeping score, Ron DeSantis' best friend in politics offed himself while he was under investigation for sexual extortion. And Casey DeSantis' best friend in politics is a closeted bisexual at the forefront of a national campaign seeking to wipe out LGBT influence. Oh, this is Casey DeSantis' best friend, is one of the co-founders of Moms for Liberty, the organization that is all hating the gays all over the place, which, by the way, is just as bad as the book banning bullshit. And she's fucking another woman behind closed doors with her husband. in a long-standing threesome relationship. Again, I don't judge. If you wanna have a threesome, I don't really care. But maybe don't get caught having a threesome when you're one of the co-founders of a bullshit grifting activist group that is raging against the gays on the daily, making all of us look like gay haters. Which, by the way, I was right about the gay hating bullshit coming back too. I called that the gay hating bullshit was coming back on the right at the beginning of 2021. You can go back to my Twitter. I was right about that too. I'll take that goddamn victory lap. Anyway, let's keep scrolling up Laura Loomer's Twitter account. Hmm. Let's see. She's talking about the debate here. Sorry. I promise there's more good stuff. That's the debate. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight, guys, on this at this impromptu stream at 1 a.m. Just trying to find out where. Oh, here we go. Apparently, to Moms for Liberty, marriage is between a man, a woman, and another woman. And then Laura Loomer retweets that. And this is what the first tweet I saw about this. I was like, oh shit. Moms for Liberty is a grifter organization that has been working to quietly utilize their group as a grassroots vehicle to get Ron DeSantis elected. Many of the members of their leadership are bad moms, as I exposed with this person here, I don't know who that is, who sued her ex-husband so she didn't have to pay child support. Apparently a member of Moms for Liberty, like a leadership member of Moms for Liberty, sued her ex-husband so she didn't have to pay child support. Good conservative though, guys. Good conservative, right? You can't go around attacking gay people and transgender people and pretend to care about children and then also get caught having a bisexual threesome when you have small children. It doesn't work that way. I don't encourage any of my supporters to support Moms for Liberty. They have shown they have terrible judgment and are also anti Trump and pro DeSantis. It's always been a giant grift. These women don't actually accomplish anything, true, and they like to think they are special and that they are saving the country, but having lunch and gossiping doesn't do anything. Majority of the political women's groups are one big waste of time. Too much talking, not enough working. It's true. Everyone knows it. Hello. Hello, Laura. You're speaking my language, girl. Jenny's getting inky with it. Says, seems to me any group with a national office should be suspect. Moms for Liberty, BLM, teachers unions. It's all about power and stripping money from the locals. I agree with that, Jenny. I agree with that wholeheartedly. But it didn't stop there. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Ron DeSantis calls for Florida GOP chairman to resign after sexual battery accusations. How come he didn't call on his wife Bridget to resign to rather? DeSantis appointed her to the Reedy Creek board. I think DeSantis is somehow implicated in this. CYA move. Oh shit, that's not what I wanted. There we go. Let's see. Gotta scroll up, find more tweets about Moms for Liberty. Laura tweets about a lot of stuff. Hang on. There's more coming, I promise. Da, 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 da. Come on, Laura, refocus. Refocus. I know you've got more on Moms for Liberty, girl. I know you do. Oh, here we go, I think. Okay. Okay. Okay, sorry, I scrolled past it. Apparently, Laura talked about it. Let's listen to this clip real quick because I didn't listen to this clip earlier. So let's listen to this.
You know,
Oh.
just all the, speaking of Tallahassee and speaking of just all these politicians from Tallahassee, I'm honestly convinced that there's like some secret underground sex cult in Tallahassee or within the Florida Republican Party, because I'm sure some of you guys saw the story today about Christian Ziegler, the chairman of the Florida GOP. And, I guess he and his wife are being investigated right now. And, there's an investigation into what they're calling sexual battery, something along the lines of him and his wife having a threesome with some woman who then said that they were secretly recording her. I don't know. Look, this was what came out today in the news, but it is kind of interesting, right? So we apparently dodged a crackhead governor only to get somebody like Ron DeSantis, who has the mannerisms and the facial expressions and just kind of the twitches and the social anxiety of somebody who would be an actual crack addict. So I don't really know how much better we are off here in the so-called free state of Florida. Here's this story before we get started tonight. There's just so much that happened today, but I don't know. There's just not enough time to go through everything. I was telling the producer earlier, I was like, oh my God, there's so much that happened today between Nikki Haley and the debate and the chairman of the Florida GOP and all these sex scandals. Oh, it's just too many sex scandals and not enough hours in the day to cover all these degenerate politicians, you guys. So Florida GOP chair, husband of Moms for Liberty co-founder, that's Bridget Ziegler, of course, who was appointed to oversee she was put on the board by Ron DeSantis for the Reedy Creek board in Disney. I remember when Ron DeSantis said, oh, I'm going to take over the board and I'm going to put all these people on, yada, 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 yada. So I'm a parental rights advocate. Get the trannies and the homos out of the schools. We can't have them talking about butt plugs. We can't have them talking about having throuple.
Okay, can I just say that hearing and seeing Laura Loomer say the term butt plugs was not on my bingo card for today? Did anyone else have that on there? I mean, I know it's only 12:48 a.m. We're not even a full hour into the day, but I didn't. I was unprepared for that imagery.
Bisexual throuples, you guys. This is so sexually degenerate. But I'm going to appoint somebody who apparently is in a secret bisexual throuple arrangement. I mean, honestly, this is like the stuff I exposed last week with Cord Byrd, the Florida Secretary of State. Okay. And I wish I was making this up, you guys, but I'm not. And this is why people don't take the Republicans seriously when they try to talk about the sexualization of children. Obviously, we all agree that it's wrong to sexualize kids. But when you have representatives who are appointed by Ron DeSantis and they're serving on the Board of Education, like Esther Byrd, the wife of the Secretary of State of Florida, Cord Byrd, who apparently was divorced, and she tried to sue her ex-husband to avoid paying child support. And in these documents from her divorce records, which I pulled up, it said that she had extramarital affairs. Okay, she lets at least 10 men go inside of her. Okay. 10 men put their penises inside of her while she was married to this husband. And I don't know if they were having like fertility issues and then she just decided to be spiteful because, her first husband couldn't get her pregnant. And so she just decided to go like emasculate him by getting 10 guys to ejaculate inside of her. I don't know. It's very graphic, right? But this is literally in her divorce record. And this is the lady who Ron DeSantis appointed to oversee one of the positions on the board of the Florida Department of Education. She sued her ex-husband so that she didn't have to pay him child support, even though he was willing, right? Like most guys, some guys will like get a girl knocked up and then they'll say, oh, it's not mine, right? And then you have to take them to court and they take a paternity test and then they're paying you child support. This guy apparently wanted to raise the kid, even though she told him, "Oh, I don't want to pay you child support because I slept with 10 guys when we were married and the kid might not even be yours." That should be a disqualifying factor. I mean, you don't want somebody that trashy being around children or being on the board of education in Florida. But she's a member of Moms for Liberty. I'm not a fan of Moms for Liberty, okay? Shout out to Moms for America that actually endorsed Donald Trump this week. Moms for Liberty is a bit of a grifter organization as far as I'm concerned, okay? They like to pretend like they're actually doing something to fight for parental rights and to help kids. But, look at, they have Bridget Ziegler, they have Cord Bird's wife, Esther Bird, they're tied to Casey DeSantis. It's just a grassroots operation to help Ron DeSantis get elected. I'm really not a fan. So anyway, his wife, who's involved in this, apparently, like, the allegations, you can scroll up in the article. Republican Party of Florida Chairman Christian Ziegler is under investigation for the alleged rape of a woman that he and his wife had a menage a trois with. So I don't know. I don't know if Christian Ziegler's wife is like a closet bisexual and, they're just hiding it from the public and then they're entertaining her bisexual tendencies with some woman that they both decided to have sex with and then allegedly filmed, right? The woman who has accused them of sexual battery has said that she believes that she was being secretly recorded while she was having sex with Christian Ziegler and his wife. So, hey guys, we can't talk about butt plugs. We can't talk about the trannies and the homosexuals in the Florida public school system. But my wife and I are going to allegedly have bisexual threesomes and, don't ask us about it.
I could not be more happy right now than I am. Laura Loomer is officially my hero. Every bad thing that I've ever said about Laura Loomer, I take back. It's not to say I was wrong when I said those things, but I take them back. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that I was right anymore. It doesn't matter. We're putting the past in the past. Laura Loomer is a hero. Laura Loomer is a goddess. Laura Loomer is the hero that we need. Thank you, Laura, for calling out this fucking grifting organization that I've been calling out since the goddamn beginning. Thank you for confirming my 100% success rate with calling out corrupt organizations in the so-called anti-woke space. I couldn't be more happy. I couldn't be more happy. That other Jenny makes a good point. She says there's an argument to be made for the conservative movement being a sex cult as much as they focus everything they do on sex. I have been thinking the same thing, Jenny, if I'm honest. Why are they so obsessed with kids? Like, why? I mean, like, honestly, and it's not like a normal, like, we just want to protect the children thing. It's like a cult like mentality. It's like, okay, bro, like, I don't want kids to be sexualized. I don't want them to transition, even though you guys call me a groomer every time I disagree with you on anything. But, like, I'm not going to spend all my time thinking about this and obsessing about this and, like, rage tweeting about this. It's weird, okay? It's weird. Rottweiler said, it's always those who preach the loudest, the ones with the most skeletons in their closet, like Ted Haggard, the megachurch homophobic pastor who got caught with an underage male escort years ago. Yup. Every damn time. Every damn time. The ironclad law of woke conservative projection. Exactly. Exactly. Let's keep going, though. Laura Loomer called for their resignation. If the call to the police was made on October 4th, that means Chris Ziegler selfishly put everyone at risk by attending the Florida GOP summit on November 4th, 1 month later. He even brought his daughter up on stage to take a pic with President Trump. He needs to resign. And then Frank McCormick got involved. And I got to say, listen, I think Frank is a really nice guy. And I've had Frank on the channel, and I think he's a really nice guy. I really do. I think Frank means well. I do not agree with a lot of the positions that Frank has been taking lately. And I hope that we can still remain friends and cordial, and I can say that because I do think he's a really good guy. I do think he means well. I do think that he has the best intentions in mind. I simply do not agree with the path that he's chosen, but I'm allowed to not agree with it, and he's allowed to do whatever he wants because he's an adult, okay? So Frank responded, Laura, I was a public school teacher for over a decade. I've worked closely with Moms for Liberty. That was Frank's first mistake, by the way. Both founders, Tiffany and Tina, and many of their chapters since its infancy. When I exposed indoctrination in schools, they supported and worked with me throughout the entire process, and our conversations and work were never political or partisan in nature. They were always focused on schools and advancing parental and student rights. Well, Moms for Liberty hasn't actually done that, Frank, in any way. In fact, it was thanks to Moms for Liberty chapters. Blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to read all of this. If anyone is a grifter, it is talking heads such as yourself who have profited by becoming overnight experts on public school indoctrination while ignoring teachers like me who put their careers and pensions on the line and ended up with nothing in return. Well, Frank, that's not fucking true, okay? First of all, Laura Loomer has been at this a long fucking time. Laura Loomer has been doing this longer than Frank McCormick has. And I'm sorry, Laura covers a much wider range of topic. She's a mile wide and an inch deep. Frank is specific in one thing. But if Frank is honestly going to argue with a straight fucking face that Moms for Liberty are the saviors of education, I'm sorry, someone started paying Frank a lot of money if that's the argument. Because Moms for Liberty hasn't done anything. Not anything of any significance at all, except push book banning, book banning, book banning, book banning, book banning bullshit for almost 2 goddamn years, not accomplishing anything else, getting completely trounced in the latest elections for school board. Moms for Liberty candidates lost almost every single race in last month's elections for school board, almost every single one, because of the errors that Moms for Liberty has been making for years. Moms for Liberty is free to endorse whoever they feel best with their membership. You owe an apology to the countless moms. No, she doesn't, Frank. No, she doesn't. This is such bullshit. In fact, like, again, I like Frank McCormick, but he's not being honest in his assessment, is what I'm going to say. When are they going to contempt Bridget Ziegler and Esther Bird? Why won't they hold them accountable? Just seems hypocritical. And then this person tweeted at Laura lying. Bridget is no longer associated with Moms for Liberty and hasn't been for years. Please don't destroy all the good work local Moms for Liberty chapters are doing. Don't start the infighting, Laura. See, conservatives can't goddamn handle it when they find out that their organizations are corrupt, because conservatives engage in hero worship all the time. Conservatives need people to save them. And so these big organizations and these influencers that come out of nowhere and all of a sudden have millions of followers, and conservatives look at them like, you're famous. You can save us. You're saying things we like to hear. You can save us. When in fact, these organizations, the only job they have is to enrich themselves. The only thing the influencers are doing are enriching themselves. But conservatives need a hero to worship because they need a savior. Conservatives have a goddamn savior complex. And if you come after any of their heroes, conservatives be like, you're the bad guy for telling us they're corrupt. No, Laura Loomer is not the bad guy here. The bad guy is the corrupt organization to begin with. Laura says, that's not true. Bridget and Christian have been working with Moms for Liberty as their political advisors, and Christian has even been paid by Moms for Liberty. He advised them on how to create their PAC. Records show he was paid by them. Many Florida moms will go on the record about this. And then Frank is trying to white knight for Moms for Liberty, and he came back and said, why are you using this as an opportunity to adjacently attack Bridget Ziegler and Moms for Liberty? Is she supposed to pay for her husband's alleged crimes? Do you think this helps conservatives? This is typical leftist behavior. To call Laura Loomer a leftist is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard in my goddamn life. But this is what conservatives do. Anytime you question them, anytime you go after their heroes, anytime you try to disrupt the paycheck that they're obviously and clearly getting, Frank, they say, you're just a leftist. I always knew you were just a leftist. You never stopped being a leftist. You're a leftist. Like, anyone who thinks that Laura Loomer is a leftist deserves to lose. I'm sorry. Like, come on. Laura Loomer is one of the attack dogs that Donald Trump has. Laura Loomer would, like, I think, die for Donald Trump. Like, if they really want Trump to win, and of course Frank doesn't want Trump to win, and Moms for Liberty doesn't want Trump to win, which is why they hate Laura Loomer so much. But if you want Trump to win, then Laura Loomer is like your fucking secret weapon. She is, again, I think she's crazy, but I'm a crazy bitch too. Laura Loomer's a crazy bitch. I'm a crazy bitch. I understand crazy bitches, okay? But Laura Loomer is also highly effective. So even if I think she's crazy, even if I don't agree with everything she says, that woman is highly effective, and that really should be all that matters at the end of the day. So Frank tweeted that, and Laura retweeted him again. Everyone in the Florida GOP knows that Christian Ziegler and Bridget Ziegler operate as a unit. She was appointed by Ron DeSantis to oversee the Reedy Creek Disney board when she and other Moms for Liberty members attacked gay people and pretended to have conservative family values. Now we find out she's a closeted bisexual who enjoys giving oral sex to women and has three-ways with her husband, all while talking about how we need to protect kids from being sexualized. Who is protecting kids? She admitted to detectives that she has participated in three-ways with her husband, and the woman who has now accused her husband of forcing her to do the thing. It is worth noting that she was a registered Democrat before she married Christian. Oh, isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? The Moms for Liberty founder was a registered Democrat. Now, I used to be a registered Democrat. I was a Democrat for 20 years. I understand that. People grow, they change. But I didn't found a big-time conservative grifting organization, did I? It's a bad look for the GOP, and they should both resign. Ron DeSantis has given positions to a lot of very questionable people who have even more questionable judgment. I feel bad for her small kids who now have to grow up reading about their parents' sexcapades and accusations against their father. That will damage kids more than any book in school. Yes, correct. And then Frank responds, continuing to White Knight. Attacking gay people, that will damage kids more than any book in school. You're playing with leftist fire by using this rhetoric. No, she's not, Frank. She is telling the truth. Focus on the left rather than doing their work for them. Bridget Ziegler isn't a threat to our republic. Leftists are. Well, you know what? Do you know who I think is the biggest threat to being able to fix education right now? Fucking Moms for Liberty. You want to talk about threats to the republic? You want to talk about people doing work for the left? Moms for Liberty works for the left every fucking day. The left loves Moms for Liberty. The left talks about Moms for Liberty all the time. Moms for Liberty is brought up in all their conferences, not because they're afraid of Moms for Liberty. They're not afraid of Moms for Liberty. They bring them up because it tees up their base, makes their base more politically involved, makes their base more active, allows them to recruit new people to their cause, because they're like, they're banning books. They're banning books. Book banning is bad. Soon they're going to be burning books on the schoolhouse lawn. Do we really live in a country where we're banning books? They use this against us all the goddamn time. All the time. Moms for Liberty has done more to damage the fight against leftist indoctrination in schools than any other organization in the country. I have said this repeatedly for years. And I was blacklisted. I was smeared. I was banned. I was put through all sorts of bullshit. I had all these people block me because I wouldn't support Moms for Liberty, and I kept calling them out. Members of my community were blocked by them. People who actually do research into the schools, people who actually help infiltrate events to show you what teachers are learning. Moms for Liberty blocked all of us. But they're going to be the saviors of education when they fight people on their own side all the time. So according to Frank, Moms for Liberty is allowed to do whatever the fuck they want. Moms for Liberty is allowed to take money and not do anything with it. Moms for Liberty is allowed to promise that they're going to get school board candidates elected and then lose election after election after election and still bring in tens of millions of dollars. Moms for Liberty should be allowed to blacklist whoever the fuck they want, tell their people that they can't work with certain people, and that's allowed. That's allowed. But Laura Loomer pointing out that one of the founders of Moms for Liberty is having a bisexual goddamn threesome. and that's somehow not fair game? Bro, please. Calling out corrupt organizations is the only way to actually make progress. Because if you're allowing corrupt organizations to exist in your space, they suck up all the resources, all the money, all the energy, all of the fucking media. They suck up everything. And then organizations that are not corrupt and activists who are not corrupt get nothing, are struggling all the time, can't make any progress because everything is going to this one behemoth organization that is corrupt, has always been corrupt from the very fucking beginning. So Laura retweeted that and said, "Corrupt Republicans in the New York or the Florida GOP are 100% a threat to our republic and I will criticize whoever the hell I want to criticize. I don't need to protect or defend anyone just because they're Republican. I don't have loyalty or allegiance to either party, just the truth." Laura Loomer is my hero. She is my hero. She kept going. According to the woman, she said she was awed by the Florida GOP chairman, Kristen Ziegler. She said he didn't want she said he didn't want to wear a condom when he allegedly awed her and said, "I'm leaving the same way I came in." Sickening behavior that needs to be condemned. Florida GOP under Ron DeSantis has become a cesspool. Everyone knows Ron and Casey are best friends with Christian Ziegler and his wife, Bridget. Then this person said, "You may be arguing with moms who have good intentions. It's hard for people to see the organization they become part of is completely corrupt." And Laura Loomer said, "Then they should leave the group. Why do you have to be a part of a group to get something done?" True. People need to be more self sufficient and do things on their own. Also true. You don't need to be a member of a group like Moms for Liberty to be an activist and support Donald Trump, which they don't. I don't know why people want to join these groups. Everyone can carry out tasks on their own if they're motivated to do so. Anything else is just an excuse. And Laura Loomer is not wrong about any of that. Let's see. She tweeted some other stuff. Oh, here we go. They join these groups because they're desperate for purpose, human connection, and community, and all there is for these transplants and wage slaves is commodified politics with fetishized hierarchies. Okay, yeah, fine. And Laura Loomer retweets that and said, "Maybe they should try finding purpose independent of a group. Sounds weak and pathetic in my opinion. Anything to justify weakness, though, as opposed to encouraging people to take things into their own hands. Let's be honest, if they were motivated enough, they wouldn't need to depend on a glorified women's lunching group to have a sense of community and purpose. Purpose doesn't come from another human being. You either have it in yourself or you don't and never will. You don't need to make excuses for weakness. It's unbecoming." Mhm. Mhm. Exactly. Exactly. Hang on. I'm just looking in the chat real quick. Da, da, da. Let's see. What do you guys have to say? Yeah, I think that's true as well, Renan. Controlled opposition isn't actually opposition, it's something designed to bait people. Exactly. Yeah, I'm feeling the same way. I'm feeling the same way right now. I have to say, I am. Let's see. This person says you have to admit that the power of two is more powerful than two ones, though. No. And Laura says, "I've been a free agent my whole life and I'm more effective than many groups. I don't think more people equals more effectiveness. Oftentimes, other people are just roadblocks who get in the way more than they actually help." That's certainly true. I don't really see what's so great about these groups. I gotta say, man, I've been saying like I'm seriously considering like quitting at the beginning of the year like keeping all my current commitments, but like really starting to phase out of this stuff. I'm seriously considering it. And I got to tell you, like this whole thread from Laura Loomer today really kind of like it made me want to quit a little bit less. It made me want to quit a little bit less. Not just because she's absolutely right in everything she's saying like this, but also because like it's one of those things where like again, I had never heard anyone else call out Moms for Liberty. Maybe they did and I just didn't hear it, but like I and it's also that I just don't pay attention to a lot of other people, but I got to say like as someone who's been calling out Moms for Liberty for 2 years and feeling like I'm screaming into like a wind tunnel and no one else could see it, because to me it was clear as day that this group was corrupt. And I just couldn't see it and I didn't have the evidence for it other than what I knew was true that was happening behind the scenes. I knew that like all these Moms for Liberty people that I met, I was just like not impressed with at all. It was just like a gut feeling as much as it was like I'd heard about shady shit happening behind the scenes. It's pretty fucking validating. It is validating that once again, an organization that I called out years before, when it bared itself out years later, I turned out to be correct. That's fucking validating as hell. Because I didn't know if this one was going to bear out, if I was honest. I didn't know if this one was ever going to get exposed. I wasn't going to spend time digging into it. But like I knew it. I knew it. I fucking knew it. Makes people wonder if that was the reasons Moms for Liberty was set up, to make people feel like they're doing something whilst really doing nothing. I mean, I wouldn't surprise me if that was the reason. Just as every other conservative dummy hating on LGBT people, thinking it's all about evil gays and the gay agenda, but know nothing about the actual Marxist dialect behind it. Exactly. Exactly. Let's see. Did she have any more? Hopefully George Santos is going to be spilling the tea as well. George Santos seems pretty pissed to get expelled from Congress. I mean, I don't know how I feel about that. Like, part of me's like Republicans didn't have to vote in favor of this, like Republicans throwing their own people under the bus again. The other part of me is like George Santos is pretty goddamn shady, man. But there's a lot of shady people in Congress, and just because you're shady in the way that George Santos was shady, um, I talked about this at the beginning of the stream, so I would like you probably basically what happened, I won't tell the full story, but basically Moms for Liberty National was coming down on a local Moms for Liberty group over bullshit, and I found out about it and it was completely absurd. And I found out about it because I happened to know the local Moms for Liberty people, but it was like Moms for Liberty National was just behaving completely unhinged. This wasn't a public thing, it was a private thing. And so that was like, I was like, what the hell is going on? But I told the full story at the beginning of the stream if you want to go back. Let's see. That's it. Let's just refresh just in case she's tweeted anything else since I loaded this. No, it doesn't look like it. But I had to go live because I had to. I had to. Thank you, Laura Loomer, for handing me because I don't think there are any other organizations that I've called out as of right now. I don't think there are any other organizations that I've called out and have said that's a corrupt organization, don't support them. Other than FAIR, Gays Against Groomers, Moms for Liberty. I was right about FAIR. I was right about Gays Against Groomers. I was right about Moms for Liberty. And if you think that I'm not right about every single influencer I've called out too, it's not just the organizations I'm right about. The influencers bared themselves out too. I mean, I have like a 5-part series on my Substack about how corrupt the leadership of Gays Against Groomers is. Almost 2 dozen employees have left Gays Against, not employees because no one gets paid at Gays Against Groomers. Almost 2 dozen members, like volunteers for the organization, have left and have gone on to talk about how corrupt the leadership is, how they suck, how they're just a grifting operation to sell merchandise. That's it. It is literally just to put money in Jamie Mitchell's pocket from selling merchandise. They don't actually do anything. They steal journalism from other people. Jamie Mitchell is completely toxic to work for. Like, just ridiculous. Oh yeah, that's right. I was right about James O'Keefe as well. This Laura Loomer and I disagree on. I was completely 100% right about James O'Keefe as well. I covered that on my Substack after interviews with like 2 dozen people that worked at Project Veritas, which no one else did. I was right about that as well. God. That feels good, I gotta say. It feels really good. Of course, no one ever admits no one ever admits when you turn out to be right. No, you never get an apology for the people that smeared you and harassed you and defamed you and said all this bullshit and went around saying, "Carlin's a narcissist and she doesn't know what she's talking about." I always end up being right, man. Always, every single fucking time. You never get your apology, though. You never get an admission. Anyway, I don't really have anything else to say. I don't know if people have questions or anything you guys wanna say. But thank you, Laura Loomer. You know, I had a dream last night, and knowing that I had a dream in the first place, I'm just talking now. I don't remember my dreams. I don't remember my dreams, like, ever. Like, it is extremely, extremely rare. Where I'm talking, like, maybe once or twice a year. Once or twice a year, I remember my dreams. But I happened to have one last night, and I don't remember all of it, but I remember it was kinda like a lucid dream, so I was like it was just super real. And, I was in a prison. So basically I went to prison for expressing myself, but it wasn't like a prison, it was like a country club that I couldn't leave, and it was like all these like rich and stupid people at at the country club, and we all like are all trapped like in a prison, but I couldn't leave and I'd been put there for like expressing myself. And I was like, that's what I felt like, honestly. That's what I felt like for like almost, I mean, what was 20, basically almost 4 years now. For the last 3 years, really badly. I felt like I've been in this fucking prison surrounded by, like, rich, stupid people because I wrote an essay on the internet about being a Democrat that went to a Trump rally that accidentally went viral, and then it shot me into this, like, space that I never wanted to be involved in, I never tried to be involved in. I didn't even know anything about it, and I did it because I thought I was doing the right thing, and then just kept getting, like, hit over the head again and again and again and again and again, and stabbed in the back, and smeared and defamed, and all of this bullshit. I was like, "Wow, isn't that funny?" Isn't that funny? My subconscious is, certainly telling me something there. But it feels a little bit better right now, I guess. Are there decent organizations, doubtful by their nature, or influencers? That's a good question. Yes. Yes. I mean, I think I'm okay. I'm not an influencer, though. I refuse to even try to be an influencer, that's dumb. Um, who do I trust? I know there are ones I like. I don't like many organizations. This is why I fund everything myself and I do all my work myself. I refuse to work for one of these organizations because it's like they all become politically corrupt at some point. But I don't know. If you ask me specific names, I'll tell you if I trust them or not. Jenny's getting inky with it. Thank you for the super chat. Reed James O'Keefe. Can't help but wonder if he was behind Project Veritas's shutting down so he can't be held responsible for his spending. Well, I did hear when I was doing the reporting on it, I did hear that Hannah Giles, who is the current, I guess, CEO of what remains of Project Veritas, she's the one that replaced James. I didn't write about this at the time, but I absolutely did hear that Hannah had secret meetings with James. And it was definitely the theory of some Project Veritas employees. And again, I talked to like 24 different Project Veritas employees when all this shit was going down. It was definitely the theory of some of them that Hannah was trying to get them all out because then she was going to give Project Veritas back to James. Essentially, basically, do you remember when James left? He basically said, if you don't fire everyone that came against me, I'm leaving. Well, Hannah's big plan, apparently, because remember, Hannah and James knew each other from way back. Apparently, Hannah's big plan, according to some of the Project Veritas employees I talked to, allegedly, was that she was going to get rid of everyone at Project Veritas. And that's why she tanked the whole organization because she wanted to be able to give it back to James O'Keefe and become the hero that gave Project Veritas back to James O'Keefe. I heard that from more than one person. So take that with a grain of salt. Yes, Gabrielle Clark is someone that can be trusted. I don't know. That's they're in the UK, right? I haven't looked into them all that much. Rottweiler. I don't know. The fact that they don't get the difference between trans and queer to me is like a red flag, but I haven't looked into them at all. Let's see. Not a fan. Not a fan. But he was also before my time, but not a fan. Anyway, does anyone have anything else? I think I'm about to wrap up. It's like 1:30 in the morning. I had some good Chinese food tonight. Anyone else have Chinese food tonight? Oh, Nick Fuentes is wearing a flannel tonight. That's nice. As I have his show on my other screen over here, but the sound isn't on, so I can't hear it. Let's see what Nick is saying on his show. Like, what could possibly go wrong? Let's tune in live to Nick Fuentes.
What are we doing with that? That's accomplishing nothing. Not even interesting. So I'm just going to skip it. I was going to talk about that tonight. You know, if we have leftover time, I may get to it.
This is just for fun, guys. This is just for fun.
Santos. I honestly liked him being in there. And I like Fetterman because, and I even, to some extent, I even like Biden because these people get into politics and they are as much of a joke.
I don't know why Nick doesn't wear a flannel every day. He looks so much better in a flannel than he does in like a fucking suit.
Because they do lower the standards in Congress to actually where they ought to be.
I think this is his Friday casual look.
They're role playing
casual
like this is
Friday.
A really important institution, and it deserves our respect, and it deserves this level of decorum.
Nick's hair looks good tonight. Mustache
like when
filling in.
The Capitol riot happened, they said this is the sacred temple of democracy.
Hang on. Do I trust Dave Smith? No. Let me tell you a story about Dave Smith, okay? Dave Smith, hang on, we'll come back to Nick in a second. He's not even talking about anything. Dave Smith, okay. When I first joined the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire in April of 2021, I was talking with the LPNH guys, And they were talking about, they were like, "Carlin, what we'd like to do is connect you with Dave Smith and you can interview him and you can talk." And I was like, that would be a great idea. Like maybe because I'd already decided to become a libertarian. I had been talking to the libertarians. They had convinced me that like joining the LPNH was a better move for me. I had gotten sick of the Republicans in New Hampshire because the Republicans were actively sabotaging the anti-CRT bill in New Hampshire, which I was like, I was really pissed off about that. And I was like, well, I'm not going to go along with people who are actively sabotaging an anti-CRT bill. So why not try the libertarians? And it turned out that that was the very best place for me. I still consider myself a libertarian to this day, even though I think I have now learned my lesson about being involved with the Libertarian Party in any way, at least for the foreseeable future. Anyway, so when I first joined the LPNH in April of 2021. The guys in the LPNH and the guys in the Mises Caucus, because I used to be involved in the Mises Caucus. I was involved with the Mises Caucus through the Reno Reset and all that stuff. They wanted to connect me with Dave Smith in order to like put him on my channel and get him to interview me and all that stuff. And I said, sure, sure, sure. I didn't really know much about him at all or anything like that. Well, they kept trying to connect me with him. First, there was emails with him where they got him to like he agreed to come on my show like 5 or 6 times. But like I would email him and he would never get back to me. I would email him again, he would never get back to me. I would DM him on Twitter, he would never get back to me. It was like, I mean, we're talking like dozens of fucking messages of what would happen is someone would talk to Dave about me. Dave would agree to come on my show to that person. That person would say, okay, Dave has agreed. And then I would email Dave at his personal fucking email address, which I had, saying, can we schedule this? Or I would DM him saying, can we schedule it? And just kept like ignoring me and ignoring me and ignoring me and ignoring me and ignoring me. Now, for the longest time, I didn't actually think it even got to the point where Michael Heiss, there was a time when Michael Heiss and Dave Smith were on an episode of Timcast where they were together in person. And Michael Heiss was like, Dave, I'm fucking looking over your shoulder until you send Carlin a fucking email. And that was the one email back that I got from Dave Smith. It was literally Michael Heiss browbeat him to send me a fucking email saying, Carlin, let's get this scheduled. So he sent me that email. I responded immediately. He never fucking responded to me. But I didn't think much of this because I had heard that Dave was kind of flaky with this stuff. And so I didn't really take it personally at first. And then I just kind of lost interest in it. I was like, yo, you're obviously not interested. Like, whatever. I don't really care that much anymore. Like, you know, I had kind of moved on. And then I happened to be at not one, but 2 events. One was the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania State Convention, and one was the Reno Convention, the Reno Reset Convention, the Libertarian National Convention. I was a delegate at, well, I guess I was a delegate at both of them. Because there was a brief moment I was remember the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania. Long story, you don't have to hear about it. So Dave Smith and I were at the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania convention because there was a big takeover attempt of that one, and some of us came down to vote with them and support them and stuff. Dave Smith and I were in the same place on multiple times. And you know what it was? It was one of those things where Dave Smith and I would be standing right next to each other, and he would, for the briefest of moments, look me in the eye, and then he would do this. He would do this. He would do, like, the minute that he made eye contact with me, he would do, like, and pretend that he never made eye contact with me. That happened at the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania convention. And again, I didn't think too much of it because I was like, maybe I'm tired, maybe I misread that, but it kind of seems like Dave Smith is really fucking avoiding me. And then the same fucking thing happened in Reno. The same thing on not 1, not 2, but 3 occasions where Dave Smith is literally standing, I mean, right fucking next to me. And at this point, I'm making a point. I'm like, I'm not talking to you first, bro. I'm not talking to you. I have sent you 8,000 fucking emails. You haven't answered any of them. I was like digging my heels and I was like, be a fucking man and introduce yourself. Because he obviously knew who I was. And so it was like several times in Reno, Dave Smith would literally be standing right in front of me or right next to me, or we would pass each other in the hall. He would make eye contact with me and then go like this and like basically turn and run in the other direction. Like he was determined to never speak to me for any reason. And I have no idea why this is. I truly and sincerely have no fucking idea. But all that is to say that I've never actually been that impressed with Dave Smith. I know some people think he's funny. I know some people think he's very smart. I do think he is very smart. But even back in 2021, I was never really that like impressed with him. I was never like, I never tuned in. I barely even watched his show because I was just so kind of like meh about the whole thing. I'm sure some people really like him, and that's fine. People are allowed to like different things. But I'm absolutely convinced that Dave Smith is afraid of me. I don't know why. Like, I don't know. And I think it's really fucking lame what he did. I think it's really fucking lame that he led a lot of people on to make people believe that he was going to run for president, because this was the thing. A lot of people got involved in the Mises Caucus and the Libertarian Party because Dave Smith kept saying, no, well, he never said it, but he basically led people to believe that he was going to run for president in 2024. Everyone thought Dave Smith was going to run for president in 2024. We had to take over the Libertarian Party because Dave Smith was going to be the Libertarian nominee for president in 2024. And then here's what happened. Dave Smith's wife wanted a dream house, and Dave Smith, instead of running for president, decided that he needed to pick up more stand-up gigs in order to buy his wife a dream house. And that is why Dave Smith is not running for president in 2024, because his wife wanted a dream house, and instead of, following through on what he led a lot of people to believe was going to happen, he decided to pick up more stand-up gigs to buy his wife a dream house. Now, listen, man, no one's obligated to run for president if they don't want to, but why the fuck did you lead on so many people for years? Fucking coward. I'm sorry. If Dave Smith can't even, like, find the fucking balls to introduce himself to me after blowing me off umpteen times when everyone was trying to get him to fucking email me. And Dave Smith made this big show of like, do you know what was the fucking weirdest thing about him blowing me off? Is when I first got in contact with him, I was still in the walkaway campaign. I was still doing stuff with the walkaway campaign. I had a lot of walkaway people and I still do actually have a lot of people from walkaway that follow me. Not the crazy ones, not the conservatives, the actual walkaways. So I had all these walkaway people that had left the Democratic Party, hadn't necessarily become conservative. And I was like, Dave, I can serve you up all these walkaway people on a silver platter. Do you want new members of the Libertarian Party? Because I can give them to you. And Dave Smith had been saying all this stuff about like, I want to bring 100,000 new members into the Libertarian Party. And I was like, cool, bro, cool. I was involved in this thing that got Democrats to leave the Democratic Party. And now I have all these people following me that are like independents, and maybe it would be nice to work together to deliver them to the Libertarian Party. And I offered this to him on like several occasions. Dude couldn't respond to a fucking email and wouldn't even look me in the eye when we were together in person. So I have to question his level of commitment. I have to question his level of sincerity. I just think it's too bad. That's what I think. And now the whole thing's gone to shit. The Mises Caucus has gone off the fucking rails. Like, everyone told me I was going to end up being disappointed in the Libertarians. I was like, no, you don't understand. Yo, this is the one time I was wrong on this one. I have to take the hit. If I'm doing a stream saying I told you so about Moms for Liberty, I have to take the hit and say I was wrong about the Libertarians turning it around. I'm sorry. I do still consider myself to be a libertarian. But man, these people cannot get their shit together in any way. They cannot get their shit together. Anyway. Let me see. You're too much woman for Dave Smith, Carlin. He knows he can't keep up with you. I don't know about that, but whatever, whatever. It's so disappointing to me. It really is. It's so disappointing, man. It's so disappointing. I really believed they were gonna change things. I really, 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 really did. I really did. Talk a good game. Talk a good game. What about Michael Malice? I like his anarchist views, but his friendships seem questionable. I like Michael Malice a lot. I've met Michael Malice. I had good chats with Michael Malice. A couple years ago, I met him at an event, and I liked him. He seems like a genuine guy. He actually seems like Michael Malice in person is like he's exactly like he is on the internet. And I think his beliefs are genuine. I like him a lot. I like a lot of his takes. I think he's funny as hell. Michael Malice is one of the few people on the internet who I'm intimidated by how intelligent he is, because I legitimately think Michael Malice is smarter than me. And I don't, you guys know I don't say that about many people, but I'm smarter than Michael Malice on some things, on some specific things, but I think overall he actually might be more intelligent than me. and and I don't say that often. So I am intimidated by how smart he is. I think he's great. Um, yeah, I question some of his friendships as well, but he's a big boy. He's allowed to make his own decisions, and it is what it is. But I like him. I don't have anything bad to say about him. Let's see. I don't know who Matt Christensen is, so I can't offer an opinion. Oh, is that the title of his stream? I have it up. I have it up. I don't know. I don't know if I want to. I actually, we were watching it a little bit earlier, and then I started talking. Let's see what is. Let's check in with Nick. What is Nick
And
talking
it is
about?
an unmitigated catastrophe for whites. The birth rates have collapsed. Our civilization has been completely subverted, meaning that we don't even control our own societies. Whites have societies worldwide.
I'm not listening to Nick talk about the race stuff. That's not going to happen. I can't with that bullshit. I can't with that bullshit. Anyway, that's all I really have to say, guys. Does anyone have any more burning questions before we wrap things up for the night? Just mounted the like button. Do I have to call it tomorrow? Well, I guess that's up to you, Bocephus. I guess that's up to you. But I appreciate mounting the like button and a super chat. I said Israel knew from the very beginning. I said from day fucking one that Israel knew. It is, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. It is fucking impossible that Israel didn't fucking know. There is no universe in which Israel didn't know. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. I'm expressing an opinion. Other people think Israel didn't know and it was a giant intelligence failure. Fine. But I mean, how do you let Hamas run around killing people for 7 hours before you respond, and you're supposed to have the tightest security in the world? Pretty convenient, isn't it? Not convenient for the people who were killed, but I don't think that that was in Bibi Netanyahu's rationalization. But people disagree with me. I want to provide a good counterbalance just so YouTube doesn't strike me dead. I'm sure it was just a massive intelligence failure. They're learning a lot from their massive intelligence failure. Obviously, there's no possibility that Israel knew and just chose to stand down to have a reason to go into Gaza. That would never happen, guys. Always trust the government. The Israeli government, especially. The Israeli government would never, ever, 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 ever lie to us. You should be careful with AF leadership. There's a lot of scandals about their leadership. I don't care. I don't care. I don't believe in worrying about guilt by association. I know the fucking lore. I've been doing my homework. I don't care. You know why? Because at least Nick Fuentes is saying things that are interesting. At least he's saying things that are interesting. and he's funny. And he looks good in that flannel. I'm sorry. Flannel Fridays. I dig it. I do. I dig it. So, whatever. I don't believe in saying like someone's gonna dislike me because I said I like someone that they don't like. Like fuck that shit. Everyone has scandal. Guys, like I like breaking news, breaking news. I am not a perfect person. I have made mistakes. Mistakes have been made. Because that's fucking life, man. That's life. That's life. There is not a single innocent person on the internet. We're all anti-heroes in our own way. Don't expect your fucking idols to not have clay feet. All idols have clay feet. If you expect people to be perfect, they will always let you down. And if you think that your conservative influencers are innocent and pure and have never done anything debaucherous in their lives, bro, come on. Come on. No, I would not grow a mustache if I could. No, no, no. I might grow a beard though. Cause like it would cover if I could. Not if I was a man, I would probably grow a beard. Is what I'm saying. I'm not saying like be a bearded lady or anything like that. I'm saying if I was a man, I would grow a beard. Yes, we should totally trust the Israeli government. Just ask Ben Shapiro. Exactly. Exactly. Yes, we can't all be perfect and pure like Tim Pool. Tim Pool, who would never cheat on his girlfriend with his producer. That would never happen. What about the former leader who said there's pedo stuff? I mean, that's Ali Alexander. You're talking about Ali Alexander? Bro, I knew Ali Alexander was corrupt from the get. I never listen, in 2020 when I was doing stuff with the Walkaway campaign, Walkaway, like Brandon started to involve himself with Stop the Steal. Like the day after the 2020 election, Brandon got involved with the Stop the Steal stuff, and I could have been involved with Stop the Steal. I could have been. Like the other people who were doing stuff with Walkaway got involved in Stop the Steal. The reason that I was not involved in Stop the Steal was twofold. Number one, my anniversary was 2 days after the election. No, it was 1 or 2 days after the election in 2020. My anniversary was immediately after the election in 2020. So when everyone in Walkaway went from the election house in Florida to Michigan to go do a Stop the Steal protest, I went home because it was my anniversary and I wanted to be in with my husband. But if I'm honest about it, my anniversary was just an excuse to not get involved with Stop the Steal because I wanted nothing to fucking do with Ali Alexander. I knew that Ali Alexander was dirty from the get-go. I knew that guy was going to have some sort of scandal. I wanted nothing to do with it. And I stayed as far away from Ali Alexander and Stop the Steal as I possibly could. I was actually at the Stop the Steal rally in Atlanta. Nick was there too. We didn't meet or anything. But Nick actually, you know what's funny? My friend L was brought to Atlanta by Ali Alexander. Elle is some bitch I know. I don't know if people have heard of her. She's fucking awesome. Lauren was brought to Atlanta to take part in the Stop the Steal stuff by Ali Alexander, and she actually ended up getting into a car with Nick Fuentes, and she didn't know who he was. But she said he was really nice. But anyway, like I was at the same like Stop the Steal rally, and I stayed far away because Walkaway had done another rally at the CNN building earlier that day. Yeah, L's still around. L is on Twitter. Go find L on Twitter. She's still around. Anyway, what was the question? So yeah, I knew that he was dirty. I knew not to be involved with him. I don't know why Nick got involved with him. That was a mistake on his part, but I understand why he was doing it to try to like be involved, but But I have made my opinions on that very, very clear. Listen, man, I don't think I'm guilty of supporting anything just because I occasionally watch Nick Fuentes' show and talk about him. That's retarded. I've said all the reasons I disagree with him. I've said what I agree with him on. I've said what I disagree with him on. We don't all need to be aligned on everything. For all his faults, I think that at least Nick Fuentes is honest. So, yep, Elle does these amazing live streams called Big Dig Energy. So look up Elle, Big Dig Energy. She's great. One of the best, also an authentic one, by the way. Elle is someone that I trust. Elle knows her shit. Let me find her Twitter. Hang on. I'll find her Twitter real quick and I'll show you guys. We'll do a plug for Elle. Hang on. Gotta load my Twitter because I'm streaming. It just takes a second. All right, let's see. Some bitch I know, Elle. There it is. Elle used to get banned from Twitter all the fucking time. I just put her link in the chat. She used to get banned on Twitter all the fucking time. During the 2020 election, Elle uncovered something called Matingate. Basically, Elle proved that one of the ways that the Democrats were stealing the election, which of course the 2020 election was the most perfect election in the history of elections. No one should ever question the results of the 2020 election. I'm merely talking about hyperbole here. Basically, what I'm about to say is a fiction. It didn't really happen. I take it all back. I'm not saying anything that was real, YouTube. What I'm about to say is a story, okay? It was a fictional story, but in the fictional land in which the 2020 election was stolen, which of course that never happened, Elle uncovered this thing she called Matingate, in which she figured out that Democrats were going into voter registries and using the maiden names of people to vote in their name. So what happened? I think it was like Elle's mother-in-law. It was not mother-in-law. It was like Elle's mother or something. Elle found out that her mother had voted under her maiden name at her former address. And then she started investigating it, and Elle found like 50 people, at least 50 people, who they had, like, someone had voted using their maiden name at their former address. And so she started uncovering this pattern of like women who were registered to vote under their maiden name. Once they got married and changed their name and moved away, the maiden name stayed on the voter rolls, and then people would like harvest those names and go and vote as those people. And this was her first Twitter ban, is she started tweeting about fucking Matingate. And she was like, this is real, guys. This is real. She started putting information out there about it. You can Google this. This was all real. But that's kind of of course, that's a fictional story that didn't actually happen. I just totally made that up, YouTube. But this is the type of shit that Elle does. And she's awesome at it. And she's the best. And everyone should follow her. Everyone should follow her. All right. Does anyone have any other questions before I wrap up for the night? I do appreciate you guys hanging out. I will be streaming at 6 p.m. Eastern time for Socialism Saturday, so I hope all of you come back for Socialism Saturday. That would be pretty great. Maybe I won't quit. I'm coming around to the idea of maybe I shouldn't quit. Laura Loomer has inspired me. Laura Loomer basically saying, you got to do shit yourself. I don't know. I've kind of been thinking that, like, here's what I should do. Is I got to get through this conference infiltration. By the way, you guys know that big conference infiltration we're doing next week? For those of you who don't know, we're infiltrating a teacher training conference next week. And this is a multi-day teacher training conference. And I wasn't sure I was going to reveal this publicly, but I was being a little sassy today. So, the multi-day teacher training conference that we're infiltrating, what I found out this week, and I didn't know this was the case until like 2 days ago. A lot of the sessions for this conference were pre-recorded, and they're just gonna like play the videos because there's like some in-person sessions and there's some video sessions. So and we're gonna watch like all the video sessions and some of the in-person sessions. And the sessions for the conference were pre-recorded, which I didn't know was gonna happen. I kind of suspected it was, but I didn't know for sure. And what I found, what happened is I was messing around in the conference app, and in the conference app, they had accidentally loaded almost all of the pre-recorded sessions, not 100% of them, but a good like 85 to 90% of them. And when they loaded the pre-recorded conference presentations, you could find the unlisted YouTube link off of those presentations. And so I went and downloaded almost all of the pre-recorded presentations for this conference next week, so that even if they catch me, even if they catch my backup, which they aren't going to catch my backup, they're going to have no fucking idea about the backup. Even if they catch me and boot me, even if they catch my backup and boot the backup, I still have recordings of the vast majority of their presentations, like already done on my hard drive right now. I haven't looked at them yet, bot. I haven't looked at them. I'm waiting because I kind of want to experience it with everyone else, but I have them. I have all of them. And I was like, you know what? Ain't nothing they can do to stop me now. I could even announce what the conference is. I'm not going to. Ain't nothing they can do to stop me now, bitch. Ain't nothing they can do about it. So, guys, if you want to join us for that conference infiltration, what I'd like you to do is to head over to carlyn.substack.com. That's KARLYN.substack.com. And next week, on the 6th, the 7th, and the 8th, I will be streaming this conference live on the internet to my paid supporters. Just become a supporter on my Substack for $8 a month, $80 a year. Or you could become a supporter on my locals, my Patreon, Twitter subscriber, YouTube channel member. But I do prefer my Substack because that's actually my main content hub. The YouTube is not my main content hub. Substack is. And so become a supporter and you will get access to watching it live with us. Well, live pre-recorded, because now they've locked down you can't get to the pre-recorded presentations anymore. They fixed the problem, but a little too late because I already got them. So, yes, well, this is a teacher training. This is a teacher training conference, and I'm not going to tell you the name of it, but I will say that it's going to be a very, very sexy teacher training conference. There's going to be a lot of talk about sex in middle school, sex in elementary school. Should parents have parental rights about teaching kids about sex in school? How we can teach sex to 0 through 6-year-olds. I'm not kidding. And so we're doing that next week, guys. If you want to join us, become a supporter on the Substack. I do appreciate everyone hanging out with us tonight and allowing me to gloat a little bit. I'm going to go get some sleep now. Guys, take care. We'll see you soon. Bye.